True fans of the successful actor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson know that he initially started his career not as an actor but as a professional wrestler. His time in wrestling garnered a lot of success and a notable fan base ready for his subsequent foray into the movies. Now, wrestling fans are abuzz with the news that The Rock might be returning to WWE. But is that true? Here's all you need to know. First, let's do a quick dive into his early career as a wrestler and see what all the fuss is actually about. Dwayne Johnson is known to be one of the greatest professional wrestlers and biggest wrestling draws of all time. He's well known for his charismatic, boastful, trash-talking Rock persona. He's an honorary member of the In and Out family, a family of professional wrestlers. But that doesn't mean he's the only wrestler in his own family. Johnson is the son of wrestler Rocky Johnson and grandson of Peter Maivia, a Samoan-American professional wrestler. In 2018 interview with Stephen Colbert, Johnson revealed that initially he was wrestling for a mere $40 a night. The only place he could afford to eat was the Waffle House. He started off by wrestling in some odd spots like used car dealerships or the flea market. He would often have to change into his wrestling costume in the offices of car dealerships, then go outside and wrestle in the lot. It was tough, but he knew he loved wrestling, so kept at it till he got signed by WWE. He went on to make a whopping $65 million from professional wrestling. Now, that's a rags to riches story we love. Johnson secured a contract with the WWF in 1996. He gained popularity after developing the gimmick of a charismatic, boastful trash talker who he named The Rock. He became the first African American to become the world champion when he won the WWF Championship in 1998. He's also credited with ushering in the Attitude Era, an industry boom period in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Listed as one of the top draws in wrestling history, The Rock has been known as one of the all-time greatest professional wrestlers. He's been placed on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling by many, alongside legends like Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and John Cena. In Cablevision's Television Beyond Broadcasting, The Rock was described as, for a long time, the WWE's biggest star and probably held the greatest international appeal. Artie Reynolds stated in his book, The Wrestle Crap Book of Lists, that The Rock was the biggest star for WWE from 1999 until 2004. Part of his wrestling legacy is that The Rock main evented the most bought pay-per-view worldwide in WWE history, which was WrestleMania 28. WrestleMania 10/7 was the most bought pay-per-view domestically in WWE history, the highest rated Raw in history, the highest rated SmackDown in history, and part of the highest rated segment in WWE history. His return in 2001 received a 7.1 rating, which was the highest rated segment of the entire year. Johnson was also part of the highest rated match of the 21st century. On May 1st, 2000, his WWF Championship defense against Shane McMahon did an 8.3 rating on the regular time and a 9.1 on the overrun, making this match the second most watched professional wrestling match in the United States of this millennium, only behind a 12-minute-long match between The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin, which drew a rating of 9.5, which is the highest-rated segment in Raw history. In 1999, the WWE introduced its second flagship program, WWE SmackDown, derived from one of The Rock's catchphrases, "Lay the Smackdown," which later became television's second longest-running weekly episodic program in history. What's more, the term SmackDown was instituted in Merriam-Webster dictionaries in 2007. The Rock holds the record for most Raw shows main evented in one year, which was 38 in 2000, and the most SmackDown shows main evented in one year, which is 36 in 2000. And he tied with Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001 for most pay-per-view shows main evented in one year, which was 12 in 2000. But he didn't stay in wrestling forever and eventually moved on to acting. In 2004, his contract with the WWE expired and his acting career had already begun. So he chose to walk away from wrestling while he was still the #1 draw for pro wrestling. But that wasn't the end of it. He returned in 2011 as a part-time performer until 2013 and made sporadic appearances until retiring in 2019. Johnson headlined the most bought professional wrestling pay-per-view in WrestleMania 28 and was featured among the most watched episodes of WWE's two flagship television shows, Raw and SmackDown. He's a 10-time world champion, a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, a 5-time Tag Team Champion, the 2000 Royal Rumble winner and WWE's 6th Triple Crown champion. In 2011, Dwayne Johnson's return as The Rock to an episode of Raw generated an average of 4.7 million viewers in the United States, with 7.4 million tuning in during his promo. Raw 1000 was the highest-rated Raw episode of 2012, and his segment with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan was the highest-rated segment of the show. In 2013, the night after The Rock won the WWE Championship for the first time in over a decade at Royal Rumble, Raw got its highest rating of that year. Like his wrestling career, his acting career has been pretty spectacular. It took off with his appearance in The Mummy Returns in 2001. Since then, Johnson has acted in some of the highest-grossing films and become a household name in the world of cinema. He's starred in box office hits such as Journey to The Mysterious Island, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Hercules, San Andreas, Central Intelligence, and even did voice acting when he voiced Maui in Disney's Moana. He even entered the Fast and Furious films with Fast 5 as Luke Hobbs, helping it become one of the highest-grossing film franchises. And it doesn't end there. He's dabbled in some other great stuff too. While such a downright successful career might appear very neat and linear in hindsight, it's worth mentioning about this extraordinary versatile individual that he's also seen twists and turns in life, since he actually also been a professional football player back in his day and was looking forward to a football career. He played college football at the University of Miami and went on to win a national championship in 1991 with them. Later, he went on to sign with the Calgary Stampeders of the Canadian Football League. However, that did not end up working, and Johnson ended up being cut from the team in his very first season. And it is not long after that he started training as a professional wrestler. We've seen how incredible that turned out to be. As for the news of his possible return, it was earlier heard from Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast that the wrestler turned actor has plans to return for this year's Survivor Series pay-per-view. However, one heavyweight in the world of wrestling has said very moving words in his reaction to this news, and that's none other than John Cena, who is quoted saying, "Dwayne Johnson is a star in his own universe. There is no one like him." That was said when John Cena was speaking with ET's Crossan at a junket for his new action film, The Suicide Squad. Cena himself made his return to WWE after having gone into acting as well, much like Johnson. He continued his praise for Johnson, saying there will never be anyone like him. For him to be gracious enough to return to WWE, its own global entertainment phenomenon, that's great for WWE and it's great for The Rock. And to make his stance clear on the possibility of Johnson's return, Cena said, while noting that he didn't want to speak for Johnson, as a fan of WWE, I really hope he returns. I think it would be special for everyone. As for where Johnson will be appearing on his comeback, reports have suggested that he's going to be appearing on both Raw and SmackDown, with Andrew Zarian of Mat Men podcast giving further clarity on WWE's plans for Johnson, that while USA Network is eager to have him appear on Raw, his rivalry with Roman Reigns will be witnessed on SmackDown. Therefore, according to Zarian, upon Johnson's much-anticipated WWE return, we'll see The Rock on both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Moreover, Zarian was quoted as saying, I can tell you USA Network tentatively wants him on that Monday. By the way, he's going to go everywhere. This isn't just a Raw storyline. He's going to go everywhere. This isn't an unlikely scenario, especially considering WWE has announced that John Cena will be appearing on both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown shows in the lead-up to his huge match with Roman Reigns at next month's SummerSlam pay-per-view. Moreover, as we've witnessed in reports of the past several months now, WWE is also intent on having The Rock wrestle at WrestleMania 38 next year against his cousin, Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And to make that happen, Rock's appearance at Survivor Series is what will likely make that happen. And to further honor The Rock, reports have been floating around that WWE will have the November Survivor Series be a celebration of Johnson's career, given his debut was at the pay-per-view 25 years ago. That's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one.